Ta-da, there we go. One quick amendment, or I guess just knowledge that I did speak with the county this afternoon about the elections coming up in November. We've got all 3 positions from what the county has told me that is active for election status.
Yeah.
The meeting in July, we will have a resolution come through to consolidate the election and then tie it all in with the county itself. So just kind of expect that at the next meeting.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. Community calendar? Nothing?
No?
Approve the minutes. I motion we approve the last minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. First item, control burn. Chief Frank.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
On behalf of the city, Marty wanted me to inquire on your plans for the vegetation management program and the levees. We are experiencing the drying out of vegetation, and as I'm watching the wind blow out my window, we're just trying to ramp up and see and make sure that you guys have a plan. I know Frank generally is kind of rhetorical, has a plan to conduct controlled burns and so forth. But last year, obviously, was a struggle for Frank. We tried to step in and help him as much as we could. And I don't think we really hit the mark of getting all the way around where we wanted to. So Marty wanted me to check in to see what you guys were thinking as far as either starting, how you might be able to handle it this year or not. And if you do think you need our help with the fire department or the city, she would like to know kind of specifically what that might entail, if you could kind of line it out and then request that from her. So that she can, either allow for that, allot for that, figure out how to get the resources we need to assist in doing that. And she kind of needs to have that sooner than later as far as a kind of a formal request, I guess you could say.
Okay, understood. Understood. Frank, do you got anything to put in on that?
The only thing is I have one guy lined up that's helped us last year, but and he was one of the guys that had to go back to school. So he's available to start when we need him, but we don't normally start until June. That's when we usually start cutting the power poles and stuff. I've already been pre-mowing the fire breaks, getting ready to disc them. Grasses are not dry enough for burning, so we don't really look at burning until June or July. And I'm still working on my part of the budget. I'm not done with that, but I budgeted only $25,000 because normally I only budget $20,000 for the 2 employees that we hire. That's all we get. Other than that, we're ready to burn just like we always have, and it all depends on wind conditions and stuff like that. Just as our fire chief found out last year, working with air quality control, we just can't go out and burn whenever we want. They put up a lot of roadblocks on us. We are on a probation because of last year, but that was just a misunderstanding. But I've got that worked out already.
Okay. Okay, my thought on it is, like you said, we can't burn till the grass is dry. And I understand Marty's wanting us to put in a formal request. And I'm sure we're going to need you, Chief. I just say that's a given, that we're going to need the assistance of the fire department. And is this looking at charging us for your assistance?
Well, Marty didn't make any reference to, billing or charging. I think what I have proposed to her is if we need to do additional support of this nature, we may have to look for internal funding mechanisms. Or last year I was able to hire seasonal help and kind of justified that based on the vegetation management we were able to do with helping you guys and out in the Hollywood Trailer Park area as well. So we were able to, take advantage of those extra seasonal bodies we had. So I think it might be just more leveraging, our resources to say, okay, well, if we do this on the city or fire side, we would be able to support some of the levee help needed as well. Because quite honestly, right now, as you can imagine, we're overwhelmed with calls for service.
Sure.
Our call volume is actually up 200 calls from last year already, which we were 500 more last year before the previous year. So we're running a little rampant. And so this could be a tough year, possibly, if we only have the current staffing to support you. So I have to, if I heard what the council said, and that's we should be supporting you folks, that I think they probably have a little bit of a chore to find some additional funding on our side to support that. That's kind of my first take at it. I haven't heard anything else to contradict that so far.
Okay.
But I think we just want to plan. Is the biggest thing for us is planning, and I know June is not that far away for us as our planning mechanism goes. So, we're halfway through April. So if we can get something in writing, kind of just formally saying we do need the assistance of the fire department to conduct a certain amount of the burning that happens, or in high target areas or something to that. I'm sure, Pat, you could probably create from your fire experience. You could probably write something that would explain the necessity to support at least some of the areas. I know Frank can handle lots of the areas independently, but that we should be helping him in some of those high threat near the structures and in certain areas where it's a little scary.
Okay, Chief. All right, we'll get something to you for sure.
Frank, I saw the line item for the burning. Can you break down what that 20,000 to 25,000, where that really goes?
It's mainly their salary is what it goes towards, because we try to work them. It's a 6-month program when we do hire them for burning. So that's what we usually try. That's what the money is for. And that was on an 8-hour. The way I understand, and I got to get with Jennifer to verify it, that it's still only 7 hours a day, 4 days a week. But I need to get with her to find out the hourly, because I hired a guy last year that worked 1 day for burning, and it turned out to be too much for him, but he went back to work for the city, and they offered him $2 more an hour than what we were paying our guys. So I don't know how that.
So you don't put fuel or the truck maintenance or any of that kind of stuff in there?
Not under part-time employee. No, that's under a different category.
Hey guys, this is Sean Menard. One thing we consider is a later item in the agenda, but we have the FMAP money coming, and last year we were close to not spending enough money. So that's something we can coordinate with Frank and everybody we have that FMAP money to use to help on this particular item if we need to.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we're going to need it.
Yeah.
So that's a
guess,
good one.
I guess the other comment I would just make is that we need a backup plan as well, because I know Frank had a plan going into the season last year and he just lost bodies to help him. So that then really puts a bind on us for, being able to control fires around the city and the levees that don't get treated. So we really do need a good solid backup plan. So we know if he loses employees, we know where to go next. Because some of the areas we didn't get done last year could have caused us problems. We just got lucky in not having any nuisance fires that caused issues with structures or, in some of those areas. So I would make sure that we do have a backup plan. That's what we'll be looking for is, when things kind of fall apart with Frank, is it going to look for us to bail him out to try and accomplish what he needs to do? And just also just saying that it's very difficult out there to burn with 2 people on one engine. We went out to help Frank a lot last year, and I'll be honest, there was a couple times that I was nervous. I know Frank's great and he does a wonderful job, but it's one day, just takes, a minute for things to change and be a different scenario. And then we're looking at liability, possibility of, loss of structures or something. So I just want to echo from a perspective of fire behavior and doing those type of things that Frank really does need more support for me even to feel comfortable on, some of those worst case scenarios. So we were glad to help him out and have additional engines there to mitigate problems. And when he's out there by himself with one engine, it's a handful for him to not lose something. And if he has to leave at 4 o'clock and can't get back out to patrol it and something rekindles later, that caused a couple issues, just kind of refreshing from last year. So those are things we want to try and head off going into the season that we could try to help mitigate and not cause problems.
Okay, Chief, for sure. Okay, we will do that. We'll get something to you and to Marty requesting your help because, like I say, we're going to need your help. No doubt about it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Badge update. Badges, we don't need no stinking badge. Go ahead, John. I just watched that the other night. That's why you're moderating. So, sorry.
All right. So Chairman, I'm actually going to defer you back to item 3, the landowners surrounding the levees from last meeting.
Okay.
And one moment, I will share what I found. Okay. So all along this area of the levee, we do have multiple owners, but a lot of them are City of Marysville. And then that one section, item 3, is actually owned by Union Pacific, which is this weird little triangle right there.
Okay. Yes, I know that.
Everything else is listed per the county's database by the city. So whatever that leads you down as far as the road of trying to contact owners or wanting to do particular burns or updates to those properties, those are the owners.
Tom, do you have any input on that?
Which area are we talking about, Pat?
It looks like it's east of the East Street Bridge, or are we talking west?
No, east.
It's east.
East.
Yes, east of the East Street Bridge. It looks like it's going down to the sand plant, that area from the bridge down to the sand plant.
We probably have very detailed property owner info right now. I can pull that for you. The only one, there's the Bacchai Temple, and then there's a Chinese family trust, I believe, an old family trust in there. I think the rest of it, the majority of it, is the city.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, there may be some
And
little breakups right in here between families. This is the specific area that I had pulled.
That triangle area.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been doing some detailed real estate ownership research in there. I just haven't looked at it in a while. So I can have DWR resend me that info and get it to all of you, if that'll be helpful.
I mean, the purpose of your conversation here is notifying the owner. I think what should be noted is there's an easement for the levee. So you don't have to notify the landowners if there's an easement for the levee to operate and maintain the levee. Is that why you're bringing this up, that you have to notify the landowners that you're doing maintenance on the levee?
Honestly, I forget what we were talking about on landowners last meeting. Tell you the truth.
Quite honestly, as do I. It was just the direction that I was going to pull the landowners for you.
Okay. Well, we have that information now, and Mom has whatever else we need. So if the item comes up, we'll be able to address it.
Perfect.
Yeah, so the only thing I would add there, Pat, is that section of levee is going to shift, but it's starting right at the sand plant. It's going to shift to the water side and straighten out through there.
Right.
And we're going to acquire the new easement we need, which is 20 feet from the levee toe on the land side. So even the properties that you might not currently have enough easement, you will in short order.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tom.
All right.
Okay. Badges?
Yes. So I do not have a actual presentation that I could publish because I don't have council's okay yet, but they are also in the same boat as far as obtain some sort of badge for identification purposes. This is something that both chiefs had signed off on as far as a proposed kind of display or, trying to work backwards here.
Okay.
To where it's not going to be mistaken for a law enforcement or fire department personnel badge. Right here on the bottom rocker where it says City Council, it would obviously be Levee Commission.
Okay.
But we are pretty much tied as far as the character lock going into this custom badge company. I didn't know if that satisfied your guys' need, if you wanted to move forward. I did talk to multiple levee districts, Levee District 1, Reclamation, RD 1000, RD 1001, RD 70 and 1660. They all have, at the very basic end of identification purposes, it is a laminated pass in the car, or it is a logo on a uniform. They don't have any particular or specific identification purposes for their employees.
Okay.
So we're kind of landlocked on that one, but whatever you guys want to do, we can move forward.
Maybe Frank would like a polo shirt.
Yeah, a lot of them do. A lot of them. We've got Reclamation District 1000 and 1001. They have the district logo on the uniform and the trucks, but no badges or laminated passes or anything like that.
Well, I'm okay with the one that you presented to move along with the city council and then have our name on it. That would be fine with me.
Okay. Would you like to postpone that until we get notification from council? So we're doing one kind of group order?
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yes, so that sounds like a good thing to do.
All right. And just so you guys are aware, I do apologize, I forgot this. The badges are running about $67. So not a gigantic hit, but about 180, maybe 190 out the door with taxes for all three.
Okay. Thoughts from others, commissioners?
Yep, I think it's a good idea.
All righty. Okay. Commissioner retirement, Gary.
Yep, that's me.
You're ready to go, huh?
Yep, I'll be here as long as I'm able to help in some way, but no, I'm ready to, after reaching 80 years old, I had made up my mind a long time ago. That was going to be the end of the city help.
Okay, well, I want to say your help has been greatly appreciated. It really has. I love the way you jumped in with both feet to support the Levee Commission and the city. So thank you very much. That's what
Thank you. I enjoyed it too. By the way, I take it Mary is not in on this conversation or on this Zoom contact call, huh?
She's right next to you.
Yeah, I see her name.
Her square is right next to you.
Oh,
Mary,
okay.
can you unmute?
I was going to say, I don't see Mary and I haven't heard her.
Mary, you are there, correct? Well, maybe she's not. I see her name. I'm looking at her name.
Okay.
Oh, hey, can you hear me now?
Yes,
There
there
we
you
Yeah, yes, we can.
Okay, there's the Okay. Now, Carl, we can just have Gary resign and we can appoint?
Yes.
Okay. Gary, would you like to verbally resign
Yep.
again?
Absolutely. And again, thanks for letting me be part of the Levee Commission. I've enjoyed every minute of it. And I'll probably still be involved once we get back to regular meetings. But yes, I would like to resign at this time.
Okay. And Mary, you are able and willing to be appointed to Levee Commission?
Yes.
Okay. John, you have any thoughts? Any words?
Just a ton of admiration and appreciation for Gary. Really set the way. You really showed us what it meant to be committed to this project, and city's going to be indebted to you for a long time, my friend. Great to work next to you too.
It has. Hope I'll still be working with all of you for a while longer too.
Yep, good.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mary, I'm going to appoint you as Levee Commissioner
Okay.
to fill Gary's remaining term till the election in November. And hopefully you will also run for commissioner in November.
All right.
Okay, Nicole, do you have to swear her in?
I do, but I have to actually be able to see her and be in person, so maybe her and I can coordinate something.
Okay. I guess you two can coordinate that and get it done.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
coordinate.
Nicole just,
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
that
that'll
sounds
work.
good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mary.
uh-huh.
Okay, surplus equipment policy. And what this is about is we have a surplus tractor now that we've acquired our new tractor through the state program. And we don't have any policies for surplus equipment. We've always used our equipment up and never had to have any surplus. So District 10 is very interested in the tractor, correct, Frank? They could very well use that. And so
Oh,
the
Frank
estimate,
muted.
go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't know if Frank was trying to respond or not. He muted himself.
Oh, are you there, Frank? Can't hear you. Can't hear
There you
you.
go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
There
now
we
we can
go.
hear you.
Yeah. Finley contacted me yesterday. They want to know where we stand because they're in really need of that tractor as soon as possible. So
Okay.
whichever way you
And
guys decide to go.
The estimated value was from John Deere, 25,000 to more.
20. Yeah, so give or take into that figure. He said to let him know what you guys decide, because they have already had their meeting and they're willing to buy it from us, or whatever you guys decide that you want to do.
So Pat,
do we have-
I'm a supporter of getting into another levy commission. They're connected to us. We need each other in the levy fight. And I think we should sell it to them for $1 and keep it in its service, because the tractor does have modifications that help it a little bit, being on the levy system itself. And I think that is a real benefit for District 10.
That's true, and they're a district that really needs it. Mary, what are your thoughts on it?
I'm okay with that also.
Okay.
Well,
My
let
thoughts
me
on it was
let me
I
let me
would
just
like
ask
to-
let me
Okay,
just
go
ask
ahead,
one
Mary.
question if I can. Have they got more money than we do? We always need money, and if they were willing to pay for it,
No, I don't think they have more money than we do. I think they're hurting a lot worse than we are.
okay, then that's the answer right there. Then
Yeah. So I'm okay with doing it for $1. I would like to have money for the tractor. I think it's worth money, but I understand the helping out of another district, and they would help us out the same, I'm sure. We work very closely with Finley, and so if there's a motion,
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we will sell
Just a
the
point of order.
point of order.
Mary can't vote until she's sworn in.
Okay,
So,
so
okay,
me
then,
and
then,
John,
I,
or
and then
Gary?
then
And
I'll say,
Elliot's-
yes too.
Elliot's- and Randy's already resigned, so it's just
John,
John.
okay,
Okay.
aye.
Aye.
So we will surplus out our tractor for $1 to District 10 levy, or District 10.
Who do I have him contact?
I guess you. I guess we'll have to sign some papers whenever we can get back to signing papers to transfer the ownership, but you should be able to tell him that it's his.
Okay,
Okay?
I will do that. Sounds good.
Alrighty. Okay.
You know, Finley can't get into the DMV. We can't transfer titles, or I haven't tried yet on the web, but he can insure it, you know, and he can probably put it to use, but just make sure it's got a policy that they hold for it.
Yeah, I don't know if
Absolutely.
there's an actual pink slip for the tractors. City Hall holds all paperwork on all of our vehicles. So that's something that we'd have to check into our file there.
But
Yeah,
I think
either
it's a good idea, John. If they put insurance on it and then went ahead and used it, they would be covered, I would imagine, huh?
yeah, they need to get to work. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
If I could recommend one item,
Sure.
just to protect the levy district, to either specifically list or to call out that we are not taking the service on of the custom items that may be on the tractor, that we specifically kind of spell that out and include the VIN number on that letter. So it's very clear that that is the item that that letter's in reference to. That would just be my 2 cents.
Okay, I think that's a good 2 cents. I think that makes sense. Thank you very
Thank
much. Okay, plan check resolution and fee. So Carl has provided us with a resolution to charge for our plan checking and such.
Oh, stop. 1 minute. There we go.
There it is. And it's something we need very seriously. Every time Sean does some work for us, it seems like it costs us $1,500. So I would like the people that were checking those plans for to pay that money. So I have a motion. I'll motion that we accept resolution for fees, plan check
Yeah,
fees.
I'll second that, but I do have discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, is it that much of a roller coaster that we can't put an up to estimate of what we should see on an annual basis? Or is it just so intense right now that plan checking is just going to be too hard to budget or even have an idea?
I think it's so hit and miss for the plan checks that I don't know how, what we would budget along that lines, but I'm sure we could put a number out there. But Sean, what's your usual charge for a plan check? Just a standard?
And I'm assuming you're referring to, most of it's spent on the
Or-
Central Valley Flood Protection Board endorsements.
Yeah.
Some are very simple. Some are like, we spend less than an hour. Some are more complex, where we have to spend 3 or 4 hours. I think the most we really ever spend is like 4 hours writing some additional, conditions. But
Right.
most of the districts are doing this now, John, including the state of California. The Central Valley Flood Protection Board now requires anybody that submits a permit to pay a fee also. So most of them call it like a $500 deposit, and they actually charge whatever it costs. And if it costs less, they give them the deposit, the difference back. So it's just like a cost neutral. All it is recovery of money, so you don't have any expenses. So it's not intended to make any money. It's not intended to lose any money. That your goal is just to break even.
Thank you, Sean. I get that. I'm just curious, when you look at the schedule of work that we have in front of us and even overestimate, I mean, was there any way of, there just really is no way of coming up with an up to number, right? In general terms, we'd spend 20 grand a year or 50 grand a year or 10 grand a year.
Well,
It all depends on how many encroachments you have.
I think we could put.
Hey, John, this is Tom. Just as an example, I mean, the ones I've been involved with since I've been around the Levee Commission, there's been some that Sean spends a half an hour, 45 minutes on, you guys approve it. And then there's ones like Caltrans Highway 70 project and the impacts to the levee where it's been going on for well over a year. There's been a couple meetings, 2-hour meetings that Sean and I have had to be at. And so that one could be in the $2,500 or $3,000 range before you know it, where most of them are, like Sean said, they're 45 minutes of review and a half hour to drop some conditions.
Okay. All right, Tom, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. What's our last one? Agreement review.
Sorry, Chair. We're actually going to review the encroachment permit request for the Hallwood Side Channel project.
Hallwood Side Channel project. Tom?
I got this one.
Sean?
This is Sean Menard.
Yeah, go ahead.
What this one is, this is the Hallwood side. It's actually the phase 2. We actually endorsed phase 1 a couple years ago. This is a continuation of the Hallwood side channel. It's basically working on some berms and training levees and making sure the water stays in the channel and some other enhancements. But it's pretty straightforward. The only reason Marysville's getting it is because it's in the floodway between 784 and Marysville. I didn't see any impact on the levee system, both for 784 or Marysville. So I'd recommend to endorse it with the standard conditions. I didn't provide them there, but it'd be the standard ones we endorsed on the previous application, the phase 1 project. So basically it'd be the same condition as the phase 1.
Okay. We don't need a motion for that, do we? We can just agree on that.
Yes.
I'm good for the endorsement.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
So,
Sean, can you handle it?
I can sign it on behalf of the district engineer. Do you want to, Pat, do you want to try, however you want to do it? I can sign it as the district engineer probably too, or I can track you down.
I could come in the office and sign it.
Okay, I'll track you down
Whenever
tomorrow.
you're ready.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Do we have anything else on the agenda?
Yes, the last item is to review the 2 agreements between the Levee District and the California Department of Water Resources. And Tom, I am going to share my screen, but if you can let me know which item I'm actually going to be sharing first to help you out would be super. I've got this one.
I'm guessing these are the FMAP agreements. I can't see anything. I'm sorry.
This is Sean Menard.
So this will be all Sean.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Sean.
Yeah. So the first item is the FMAP application. We submitted that, and that's what she has up on the screen now. We did a letter of intent, and so if you go back to that first page, the actual letter.
That one. Okay.
So after doing the application, this is for the fiscal year 2020, 2021. We'll get, if we're successful, we could get up to almost $296,000.
Okay.
Wow.
That's based on the equations and putting all the information in that we have. And so, and then we'll have to work with you, Pat, Frank, and how to come up and spend that money. But I put in the budget, doing like we talked about earlier, burning the levees,
Right.
repairing it. We did and it's some security enhancement in the budget down there at the 14th Street, where people are
Right.
driving up the side of the levee, putting some concrete blocks, some fencing. So that's how I put this package together. So
Okay.
right now, I put myself as the authorized agent. We can change that if you need to once we get the agreement. But I just did it the same way we did the previous 2 fiscal years.
Okay.
So this was sent in, and it's in the queue now. At a later date, we will have to sign a funding agreement and a resolution.
Okay.
We don't have to do that today, but we have it on the agenda. You could authorize. I think it's probably best to bring it back once we get the actual dollar amount that we're going to get, and then we
Okay.
can look at that and have the resolution and get it signed at that time.
That sounds like a
I don't
good
think
plan.
it's a critical path right now. So right now it's more of an informational thing to show you
All right.
that we submitted the FMAP, and
And it's submitted and we're waiting for the money then.
well, this one here is where we submitted, and we won't know probably for 3 or 4 months. We're
Okay.
also working on the 2019-2020 year, which we
Right.
should be getting a contract here shortly on that one. I have been working with Jennifer at the city, and I have to do a closeout for the 18-19 year.
Okay.
And so I've been doing some accounting on that one. So one thing we have to do probably a little better job about is for this 19-20 year, and again this 2021 year, is how we do some accounting. And like your extra employees you hired, I'm putting that in there as an expense that we
Okay,
use
so
for the program.
we need to tag what's FMAP money so we can close out at the end of the year easily by knowing what
Well,
we
not
spent.
so much that is, don't be afraid to hire a contractor if you don't have the manpower also. That's what I was getting at. There's some
Okay.
things we can do. You don't always have to do it with your own forces. So I'll get with Frank, and we'll lay that out for the 19-20 year. And also when this comes, we get some money from 2021, we'll also work that out. So we'll make sure we spend it and make sure we get easy an accounting at the end also. So,
Yeah.
so that's
we should
kind of the update
before
on
we
that.
spend it. Okay.
Good. That's really good information.
It is. Okay. Any comments? I know we have insurance coming up, renewal of our insurance for vehicles and all that. Liz from Galligan called me, and so we'll be working on that. That'll be coming up. Other than that, I really don't have anything.
Yeah, I've got nothing. We're good.
Me neither.
Okay. Now, Carl, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
Are you thinking of retiring?
I'm just rolling back on my practice, and I'm thinking that I'm thinking that I may want to stop doing this. Yes.
Okay. Is that a firm, or are you still thinking about it?
I'm still thinking about it.
Okay. Okay. Well, think a little longer.
Interrupted all of my thinking processes.
Okay.
Take your time thinking about that, Carl.
Definitely. And if you do decide to leave us, could you please give us a very good recommendation for a water lawyer?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Oh, before you get off, when is the next meeting going to be? So I can put it on my calendar now.
28th of July, I believe.
Yep.
You were spot on at 4 p.m.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very
Thanks,
much,
guys.
Nicole. You did a great job on this
Yep.
meeting.
All right, folks. Be well,
Thank you
everybody.
for being lenient.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you.
Nicole, would you be
Yes.
available tomorrow morning for me to
Thank
come
you.
sign the resolution?
You know what? I will have it ready to go, Carl. I will not, but we can absolutely have it ready for you. Yes.
Okay. Well,
Nicole,
how do I get into City Hall now?
that's what I was going to how is
So we have all of our main lines posted on the front door. So if you could just call the main number, it's 749-3901. just call and let them know that you're here to sign the levies resolutions, and then we'll get you inside and get that signature.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole.
Of course.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
everyone.
day, guys.
All right.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
long.
All right. Cool. That worked. Yeah.
Yes, it did.